So begin with that introduction video of Malaysian National Heritage Site that I chosen. Well, I'm Yugendran Muthusamy, metric number 258994, would like to make a comments on aspect of the site which is stated in the final project requirements that started with background of the site, interpretation, impacts of tourism, also other issues pertaining to the heritage tourism of the site. So let's explore this commentary video together. Next, we take a look on background of the site. So as we know, Fort Cornwallis is located at Georgetown, Pulau Pinang, Malaysia. Fort Cornwallis is the largest standing fort in Malaysia compared to other forts, which is Fort Malawati at Selangor and Fort Kuala Kedah at Kedah. It was actually rebuilt by the British East Indian Company in the late 18th century on 1786 after originally built for Nibong pounds during the governor of Pinang that period of time. Bricks and stones were used to rebuild this Fort Cornwallis by imported Indian convict labor, where the intention is to transforming the wooden fort into a stone structure. Other than that, Fort Cornwallis was intended as a defensive structure against pirates and Kedah forces, where have chances to attack the Fort Cornwallis and conquer the fort site again from the British. Unfortunately, the Fort Cornwallis is never engaged in any combat during its operational history, while it served an administrative function rather than actively defensive one. So this means that the real purpose of this fort is builded or changed to administrative use, since no any forces launch attacks to this Fort Cornwallis. For example, the Judge of the Supreme Court of Pinang, Sir Edmund Stanley, was first housed at Fort Cornwallis when the court opened in 31 May 1808. UNESCO declared this Fort Cornwallis as a cultural-based heritage site in Malaysia since the modern era started. So for now, back to the history. Francis Light as superintendent representing the British East Indian Company, who is the first Briton stepped in Malaysia land. His intention is to take over the Prince of Wales Island, or nowadays called as Pulau Pinang in Malay, from the Sultan of Kedah, Sultan Abdullah Mukarram Shah in 1786 by making a written agreement with him. The Fort Cornwallis is open to the public for visit the site, thus for tourism and heritage developments at Pulau Pinang itself. So now let's talk about the admission fees and opening hours. So the opening hours are from 9 AM to 7 PM daily from Monday to Sunday. How about the admission fees? The admission fees of the Fort Cornwallis are divided into two categories. One is Malaysian with MyCard and another one is others or non-Malaysians. So how about the prices? For adults with Malaysian with MyCard is charged as much as 10 ringgit, while for the non-Malaysian adult is charged as 20 ringgit. For the Malaysian child is charged as 5 ringgit, while for the non-Malaysian child is charged as 10 ringgit. For the senior citizens of Malaysia is charged as much 5 ringgit, but for the non-Malaysian senior citizen are charged as 10 ringgit. For the OKU category, there is no any charges for them to visit this Fort Cornwallis. So I think that this is a favorable price that stated by the Fort Cornwallis management. Next, the statue of Francis Light is placed at the entrance of this site as a symbol of first historic landmark by the entry of Britons at Malaysia. Today, Fort Cornwallis has become one of Penang's prime tourist attractions. Now is the moment for making heritage interpretation of the site, which is Fort Cornwallis. But my target audiences for this time is teenagers or more likely as a secondary school students. So guys, did you ever visit to the Fort Cornwallis that located at Georgetown, Pulau Pinang before? Do you have any interest to get know what are the historic monuments in the fort and why this fort are more talked about its uniqueness and speciality compared to other forts in Malaysia? Let me dismantle it for your greater experiences and understandings about Fort Cornwallis. My humble request to you guys, watch this video until end. So now, take a look on this statue. Did you ever seen before but couldn't remember? My guess is teenagers who is currently studying in Form 2 and above could able to recognize this picture. Yeah, that's right. This is the statue of Francis Light that you guys learned in Form 2 history textbook. Francis Light is the first Briton stepped in Malaysian land and started the British colonialism in 1786. This is indirectly means that your history subject teacher is told the true facts during the history class lessons toward you guys. But the question is, what necessary to build this statue and place it in front of the fort? This is because in memory of Francis Light, who is first established this island as an English settlement and was many years being an governor. The color of the statue is in bronze color that was sculpted by F.J. Wicholson at England and bring into our country. This is the true reason why the statue is in at our country now. Do you guys know the aim for this Fort Cornwallis are builded? What it could be? The major aim is to protect Pinang Island from the pirates and Kedah forces. Do you guys know this Fort Cornwallis is never engaged in any combat since it was builded? So of course you guys thinking for what to get know about this fort since it was run from the major aim it was builded actually. No any forces is launched, that means nothing is interesting about this fort to talk about. But doubting why high number of visitors is still visit to the Fort Cornwallis? Even they know can't able to get know about its combat histories that actually never happens before. Sure everything have a reasons. Fort Cornwallis is never engaged in combat because there is no any attacks that come from pirates and Kedah forces. So that means that this fort is turned to be a military and administrative base for the British East India Company, and also without existence of this fort, Pulau Pinang couldn't able be a heritage city nowadays that verified by UNESCO. So now you guys interested to visit this Fort Cornwallis as soon as possible? If the answer is yes, make a strategic plan to visit this fort so that you guys can see in real its uniqueness and speciality. Never drop this chance to visit the fort because it could help for your better understanding about British colonialism that you studied in history subject at schools. If you're born in Pinang Island, make a meaning for you born at this island by visit to this fort. Always remember, experiencing the histories is the best teacher ever. Moving to the last requirements of this commentary video, which is impacts of tourism and other issues pertaining to the heritage tourism of the site. Based on my personal research of the heritage site, there are some impacts of tourism and other issues which is related to the Fort Cornwallis was noticeable. So what are those? One of the good impacts of tourism to the heritage site is able to attract more tourists to the Fort Cornwallis for enhancing the greater understanding of Georgetown history and cultures. For information, Georgetown is one of the cities in Malaysia that full of heritage, history and culture background. Other than that, with the development of tourism, Fort Cornwallis became an interpretation center for visitors. This is developed by interpretation and activity programs that be designed to allow visitors to have a meaningful educational and enjoyable experience based on the authentic interpretation. These steps lead to undertake ongoing surveys and analysis of visitation to the fort to assess effectiveness of interpretation, visitor expectations, origin and type of visitors. Furthermore, the existence of this fort is able to conserve for the long-term asset for the government. This is because the revenue that get through the admission fees of visitors is generate better growth of economy to the Pulau Pinang state, and it can be maintained for more upcoming years, while the management of Fort Cornwallis is also leasing the fort for special events to the visitors to earn some income from it. So how about the bad impacts of tourism to this heritage site? What are those? One of the bad impacts that identified is the crowd of visitors to this fort are increasing daily with the development of tourism on this heritage site. The crowd of visitors are increasing monthly by monthly each year that make the Georgetown to be a busiest city in Pulau Pinang. Besides that, some pollution is noticeable, which is air pollution and noise pollution surrounding the fort. The higher vehicles nearby the Fort Cornwallis is lead to air pollution, while the sounds of vehicles such as horn sound due to the heavy traffic in limited space of Fort Cornwallis lead to noise pollution. Apart from that, there are also other issues that pertaining to the Fort Cornwallis heritage site. One of it is parking and traffic issues. Why these issues is important to talk about? What are the consequences? What are the solutions? The management of Fort Cornwallis is failed to control the over limit of visitors to the site. There is no additional car parking spaces and also strategic places of buses to drop off point for the visitors, while no disability access in terms of facilities, and at last the management couldn't able to effectively manage the traffic circulation. But for information, recently the management of Fort Cornwallis is able to overcome these parking and traffic issues while implement best solution to handle it, which is utilize back the problems as a solution point by providing additional car parking and buses drop-off point spaces, disability access, and also effectively manage the traffic circulation. Another issue is management of Fort Cornwallis is struggling to retain the important values or significant values of the site. This is because some historical elements of Fort Cornwallis in terms of properties is getting older and need to be renovated soon, and also some unwanted poor previous conservation works need to be removed. The management of Fort Cornwallis have to relocate or alter intrusive elements like trees and benches within and around the fort to reveal important heritage value, where this will not compromise intangible values of functional imperatives. In conclusion, so that is the overall commentary video of mine about this Fort Cornwallis, which is located at Georgetown, Pulau Pinang, Malaysia. So I hope you guys will visit to this fort in future and get knows about its history, heritage and culture background, and also thanks for watching this video.